Welcome to this IELTS Listening Practice Test. In this test, you will listen to a variety of recordings and answer questions based on what you hear. Before each section begins, you will have time to read the instructions and questions carefully. After each section, you will be given a short period to review your answers before moving on to the next part. The recordings will be played one time only, so listen carefully and write your answers while listening. After completing all 4 parts, you will have time to review your answers. An answer sheet with all correct answers will be provided at the end of the video. Now prepare your pen and paper, make sure you are in a quiet place, and let's begin the test. Part 1. You will hear a conversation between a volunteer coordinator and a woman who wants to join a community project. Now you have some time to look at questions 1 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 1 to 10.
Good afternoon, Riverside Community Center. This is Daniel speaking.
Hello, I saw your advertisement for volunteers, and I'd like to apply.
Wonderful! We're always looking for new volunteers. May I ask what attracted you to the program?
Well, I recently moved here, and I'd like to contribute to the local community. I was especially interested in helping at the local museum.
That's great! The museum project is one of our most popular activities. What days are you available?
At first, I thought I could help on Mondays and Thursdays, but I've just started a new job. Wednesdays and Thursdays would work much better.
So, Wednesdays and Thursdays?
That's right.
And what type of work would you prefer?
I don't mind administrative work, but I'd rather assist with children during educational visits.
Excellent! We always need help with school groups. When would you like to begin?
Is April possible?
Certainly.
Great! Let's make it April 12th.
Perfect. I'll need some personal details now. What's your surname?
Carter.
Could you spell that?
Carter.
Thank you. And your address?
I live at 48 Green Road.
Sorry, was that Green Lane?
No, Green Road.
Number 48?
That's correct.
We'll also need an emergency contact.
You can put down my sister, Emma.
Thank you. Have you done any volunteer work before?
Not recently. However, I spent 2 years helping at a youth center when I was at university.
That's excellent experience. Finally, would you like us to contact you by phone or email regarding the application?
Email would be best.
No problem. We'll send confirmation within a few days.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
That is the end of Part 1. You now have some time to check your answers. Now turn to Part 2. Part 2. You will hear a tour guide talking to a group of visitors during a walking tour of a historic town. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen and answer questions 11 to 15.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our walking tour of Ashton. This town has a fascinating history stretching back over 300 years, and today we'll explore some of its most significant landmarks. We're currently standing in front of the town hall. Although many people assume it's the oldest building in town, it was actually constructed in the early 19th century. The market house, however, dates from 1768 and remains one of the best preserved examples of 18th century architecture in the region. As we continue our walk, you'll notice the river bridge. While it appears historic, most of the structure was rebuilt during the 1950s after flooding damaged the original crossing. Further along is the old library. This building was opened in 1774 and originally served as a meeting place for merchants before being converted into a public library many years later. You'll also see the clock tower in the town square. Although it is a well-known landmark, it was not completed until the early 19th century. After our morning tour, we'll stop for lunch in the town centre. In the afternoon, we'll visit the castle grounds, where you'll have time to explore the gardens and ancient walls independently. Following that, we'll continue to the Railway Museum. It contains a collection of restored locomotives and historical photographs documenting the development of transport in the area. Unfortunately, the botanical gardens are closed today because maintenance work is being carried out. The art gallery was originally included in our itinerary, but has been removed due to limited time. Before moving on, I'd like to mention the restoration of the clock tower. Several years ago, engineers discovered serious structural weaknesses in the stonework. As a result, a major restoration project was undertaken to ensure the building remains safe for future generations.
Now you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20.
Before we begin walking, I'd like to provide a few practical details. For those joining tomorrow's tour, please meet outside the town hall at 9:30 in the morning. We leave promptly, so try to arrive at least 10 minutes early. The morning section of the tour covers approximately 4 kilometres. Most of the route is flat, making it suitable for visitors of all ages. Lunch has been arranged at a traditional restaurant overlooking the river. Vegetarian and vegan options are available for anyone who requested them during booking. Many people visit the castle grounds because of the historic towers that remain from the original medieval fortress. Several of these structures are over 600 years old. Finally, the tour concludes close to the main railway station, making it easy for visitors to continue their journey afterwards. Thank you for your attention. Let's begin our tour.
That is the end of Part 2. You now have some time to check your answers. Now turn to Part 3. Part 3. You will hear two media studies students, Chloe and Ryan, discussing a documentary project. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Hi Ryan, have you made any progress on the documentary proposal?
Quite a bit, actually. The more I research this town, the more fascinating it becomes.
Same here. I'm really happy we chose local history as our topic.
Me too. Some people selected environmental issues because they thought it would be easier.
True. And our lecturer never actually assigned this topic.
No, the main reason I supported it was because many older residents have stories that haven't been recorded anywhere.
Exactly. If nobody documents them now, those memories could disappear completely.
That's what convinced me.
So, how did your background research go?
Surprisingly well. I expected to learn mostly about old factories.
Because the town used to be an industrial center.
Yes, but what really surprised me was discovering how many different immigrant communities settled here over the last century.
I noticed that too.
Some groups arrived for factory jobs. Others came later for business opportunities.
It created a much more diverse population than I expected.
We should discuss data collection.
I spent hours reading old newspaper archives.
They're useful, but they shouldn't be our primary source.
Agreed.
What about museums?
They'll provide background information.
True, but I think the most valuable material will come directly from local residents.
So, interviews.
Exactly. First-hand experiences will make the documentary much more engaging.
Speaking of interviews, how did the trial recording go?
Better than expected.
No technical problems?
None at all. The equipment worked perfectly.
That's good.
The issue was that some of our questions were far too complicated.
Really?
Yes. Our participant kept asking us to repeat and explain them.
Then we need simpler wording before the real interviews begin.
Definitely.
Are we ready to start filming next week?
Not yet.
Why?
The university requires a risk assessment for any off-campus filming.
That's right. I'd forgotten about that.
Once it's approved, we can finally start recording.
Now you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Let's finalize the structure of the documentary.
Good idea. What should the opening chapter focus on?
I think viewers need to understand the town's landmarks first.
So, the historic buildings?
Exactly. They'll provide context for everything else.
The next section covers economic history.
That's straightforward. We'll focus on industrial development.
The rise and decline of local factories.
For cultural heritage, I initially thought we should discuss traditional food.
That's interesting, but local festivals have had a much bigger influence on community identity.
Good point. Let's focus on those instead.
The section on population changes seems obvious.
Immigration stories?
Definitely. They explain how the town became so diverse.
Finally, future challenges.
We could discuss environmental issues.
Or transport systems.
Transport is probably more relevant because residents constantly mention traffic and public transport problems.
Agreed.
Great. I think we finally have a complete documentary plan.
Perfect. Now we just need to start filming.
That is the end of Part 3. You now have some time to check your answers. Now turn to Part 4. Part 4. You will hear a lecturer giving a talk about the development of an ancient trade route. First, You have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to explore the fascinating history of one of the world's most important desert trade routes. Although modern transportation allows goods to move across continents within days, ancient merchants often spent months traveling through harsh landscapes to connect distant civilizations. Let us begin with the origins of the route. Historians believe that it was first established by traveling merchants who recognized the economic opportunities available beyond their local regions. These individuals gradually created a network of paths that linked communities separated by hundreds of kilometers. One of the most profitable products transported along the route was silk. Highly valued for its softness and beauty, this material attracted buyers from many different societies. As demand increased, traders expanded their journeys and established stronger commercial connections. However, the route was far from easy to travel. Merchants frequently crossed enormous areas of desert where water was scarce and temperatures could become extreme. A single mistake could place an entire caravan in danger. The challenges faced by merchants were numerous. One major problem involved navigation. In many areas, there were few permanent landmarks, and the lack of reliable maps made long-distance travel extremely difficult. Unlike modern travelers, merchants could not rely on accurate geographical information. As a result, they often depended on local guides who possessed detailed knowledge of the landscape. These guides understood seasonal weather patterns, water sources, and safe pathways through the desert. Natural hazards also created serious difficulties. Sudden storms could appear with little warning, covering trails with sand and damaging valuable supplies. Historical records describe caravans losing equipment and animals during particularly severe weather events.
Despite these obstacles, trade continued to expand. Over time, small resting places along the route developed into major towns. These settlements provided accommodation, food, and security for travelers. As commercial activity increased, many eventually became important centers of regional trade. The movement of goods also encouraged cultural exchange between communities. Traders did not simply transport products. They carried ideas, beliefs, technologies, and artistic traditions. As people from different backgrounds interacted, knowledge spread across vast distances. Regular contact between merchants and local populations also contributed to the spread of new languages and customs. In some regions, entirely new cultural traditions emerged as different societies influenced one another. Eventually, however, the importance of the route began to decline. Technological improvements in shipbuilding allowed goods to be transported more efficiently by sea. The development of faster sea transport reduced travel times and lowered costs, making maritime trade increasingly attractive. Although the desert route gradually lost its economic significance, its historical impact remains enormous. It helped connect civilizations, encouraged innovation, and shaped cultural development across multiple regions. Today, archaeologists continue to study its remains in order to better understand how ancient societies interacted with one another. Through their discoveries, we gain valuable insights into the origins of global trade and cultural exchange.
That is the end of Part 4. You now have some time to check your answers. That is the end of the listening test. You now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the listening answers sheet.